I'm Marlene Levitt for PACE TV. Every single day we gaze at ourselves in the mirror and do the very best we can to look good. We try to exercise, eat well, and have a healthy mental attitude. But there is one more important thing that we ought to be doing. We need to have more respect for our teeth and the connection it has to our good health. Today we have with us Dr. Mort Tuchin, who will give us better insight into preventive dental care. Thank you for being here, Dr. Tuchin.
Well, thank you, Marlene, for having me.
Thank you. Give us a little bit about your background, please.
I graduated from the University of Southern California in 1976, so I've been a dentist for some 38 years. Originally in Los Angeles, now in Rancho Bernardo here in San Diego.
Okay. And what exactly is preventive dental care?
It's the need to take care of your teeth, to keep your teeth and your gums healthy, because they're the gateway to the rest of your body.
And when do you exactly start dental cleaning? Do you do it when the first tooth arrives in a baby?
Yes, that's when the first tooth needs the first care.
Okay. Let's talk about babies again, pacifiers and thumb sucking. A little bit on that. I know a lot of the mothers that are looking in today kind of wonder about those. There's so many pros and cons about it. Tell us your views.
I think a pacifier, if it can be avoided or at least minimized, is probably the best. It puts pressure on the teeth and it can cause deformations, especially if used past the age of 2 or 3, cause the teeth to flare.
Now, there are some negative views regarding this, and I quote a spokesperson from the American General Dentistry, and he says, up until the age of 2, any alignment problem with the teeth or the developing bone is usually corrected within a 6-month period after pacifier use is stopped. Prolonged pacifier use and thumb sucking can cause problems with the proper growth of the mouth, alignment of the teeth, and changes in the shape of the roof of the mouth. Do you agree with this?
I do.
Do you? Okay. And there's also an association between pacifier use and middle ear infections. Have you ever heard of this?
This is new to me.
It's new. Well, they're saying that continuous sucking on a pacifier can cause the auditory tubes to become abnormally open, which allows secretions from the throat to seep into the middle ear. And that's a transmission of bacteria in secretions would lead to middle ear infections. So that is new to me also. When is fluoride introduced to children?
Fluoride can be introduced systemically, which is to say swallowed. And the easiest way to do that is to have a child drink tap water. In almost all communities nowadays, the tap water is fluoridated. The teeth, before the dentist, we use the word erupt, grow into the mouth. They're being formed underneath the gum. We don't see it happening, but there are layers and layers of enamel and substance called dentin being laid down. And if the fluoride is in the bloodstream and is available, it'll be incorporated into the enamel and strengthen the enamel through all its layers.
I see. And we'll talk more about fluoride later.
All right.
Tell me what the American Dental Association says about routine general dental care.
Well, they and I think that it's important for all individuals, children and adults. For most people, twice a year would be appropriate to come in, not only because most people need professional cleaning twice a year, but also in case problems do arise. If they're caught early, like all problems in life, they're usually easier and less expensive to fix.
Right. And you're recommending how many times a day to brush teeth?
I recommend ideally after every meal. If you eat 3 meals a day, 3 times a day. If you eat snacks in between, after the snacks also.
Even an apple a day, right?
Even an apple.
And you brush with what kind of toothpaste? Fluoride?
I recommend fluoride. Otherwise, it's up to the individual, whichever tastes better, or toothpastes are basically the same. Many toothpastes are advertised with extra ingredients that do this for you and that for you. I think it's mainly advertising hype. Fluoride is a valuable ingredient to add to the toothpaste. Otherwise, it's your choice.
Right, just as long as you brush.
Yes,
Right.
Toothpaste that sits in the drawer does absolutely no good.
Now, what about flossing?
Flossing is essential because with toothbrushing, the toothbrush will only reach the surfaces that are easily reached, particularly on the back teeth, the molars. The teeth are very wide, and the bristles are not going to get between the teeth. The germs are already there, you can be sure of that, and maybe food particles too. So you need to get between the teeth, and most dentists recommend flossing as the first choice to get between the teeth. It's flexible, not too hard to work, and it will really reach every area that the germs are already located in.
And how exactly is the best way to floss?
Well, I brought my portable props with me.
Okay.
And these are two bottom teeth.
Okay.
And this is the floss. And you slip the floss through, and you go up and down on one tooth, go up and down on the other tooth, and then move on to the next set of teeth. Do not saw the floss.
Okay.
That just lacerates the gum. You want to clean the plaque, which is a gluey substance of germs and the glue they make, off the teeth. And the plaque is soft enough that just passing that floss up and down should get it off.
Really. And of course, dental cleaning will take off the balance, right?
The plaque will, over time, absorb minerals and turn into tartar. Tartar is like a rock, and you're not going to get it off with anything you have at home. So that's where we dentists and hygienists become involved. We have instruments that will scrape that stuff off. You don't want to let it build up.
Now, when I think of tartar, I automatically think of smoking. Smoking caused tartar, is that correct?
No,
No?
no. Tartar forms any place you have plaque. And now people are different. It depends on their mouth chemistries. Some people have germs that are more likely to absorb minerals. Maybe the mineral contents of their saliva is a little different. But almost everybody is going to develop tartar. Smoking, now tartar is either usually grayish or yellowish. For smokers, it absorbs that tars and nicotine. It'll turn really ugly.
Black?
Black.
Oh, really?
So, but smoking itself does not cause tartar.
Of course, we need to eat a balanced diet, right? Limit soft drinks and sugar. And what else do you recommend for dietary that's good for the teeth, dental care?
Whatever is good nutrition is good for the teeth.
Okay. Now, the American Dental Association recommends a minimum of 2 dental checkups a year for professional cleaning and management of any developing condition. Is that what you recommend also?
Absolutely.
Two times a year?
For most people.
And dental cleaning, how often during the year?
Same. Twice a year for most people.
Right. And what about the routine cancer screenings? Do you do that?
Yes. Most dentists check for cancer, oral cancer, during cleaning, certainly during a complete checkup.
Under the tongue, around?
Yes. The throat, the cheeks, any place.
Let's talk about electric toothbrushes. And which ones do you recommend? Do you like, there's some circular ones and there's some vibrating ones. Do you have a choice?
I believe they're all fine. I don't have a preference. I use a certain kind, but they're all good if they're used according to the instructions and used properly and used for the proper amount of time.
Okay, so it's a matter of just do it. Just get in there and brush your teeth. Use a electric toothbrush if you have to. Floss every day, right? More than every day, once or twice or 3 times a day.
Yes.
The more the better.
The more the better. To keep those germs off your teeth. The germs are the enemy.
Now there's a talk about silver fillings. Silver fillings have been taken out of people lately and said to contain too much mercury. What do you think about that?
This has been discussed for a couple of decades already. Silver fillings do contain mercury. They're technically known as amalgam fillings. They've been around for decades. The mercury is tightly bound in with the metals in the filling, and it is released in tiny, tiny amounts. It's been researched by American Dental Association. A lot of research has gone into this, and every reputable large organization from the American Dental Association, the American Medical Association, National Institutes of Health, have all declared that amalgam fillings are safe.
Really?
Yes.
And that goes against everything I've heard, so that's good to know. I don't have to take my last one out, do I?
If it goes bad and you care to replace it with something else, go ahead.
Okay. Mouth guards and bacteria. A lot of kids have retainers. A lot of people use mouth guards. How do you clean those?
You brush them.
Just like everything, right?
You brush them.
What about sealants for children? Let's talk about that. What are sealants?
The baby teeth don't have many grooves in them generally, but the adult molars in particular that come out, for many people, they have very fairly deep, very narrow grooves in them. That's the way nature builds them for most people. These grooves are so narrow that even a single toothbrush bristle will not go down there. But bacteria, germs are so tiny that they get down there in huge numbers. So, and they may cause decay, and they often do cause decay, and it's not the fault of the child or the adult who has these deep grooves. So we have something called sealants. It's a liquid plastic, and we actually flow that liquid plastic down into those grooves, and then we have a method to harden that plastic right on the spot, and essentially it seals off those grooves. There's no drilling involved, but if the grooves are sealed off, the germs can't accumulate down there and cause cavities.
Now those are baby teeth, right?
No, adult
teeth too.
No, more adult teeth than baby teeth.
Oh,
As I
really?
mentioned, baby teeth don't have these grooves so much. But adult molars do, and of course a child gets his first or her first molar at typically by the age of 6 or 6.5.
And smoking and drinking, I'm sure that's not terrific for the teeth, right?
Well, yeah.
What does it cause?
Smoking's bad in every respect.
Yes.
Of course, the worst is mouth cancer. But even if you don't get mouth cancer, it compromises all the immune systems in the mouth and the rest of the body, and my understanding also.
And it yellows the teeth, doesn't it? The
Oh,
smoking,
definitely. There's colorants in that smoke that just does not look good.
Right. Now, getting back to plaque, we had just touched on it a little bit. But let's talk about, for instance, you were talking about orthodontics and plaque. Does it build up more plaque to have braces on your teeth?
Anything that it covers a smooth surface is a hiding place for more germs.
Okay.
Braces are just loaded with brackets and wires, and those germs love all those hiding places. So a child or an adult wearing braces has to spend a little extra time getting all those little nooks and crannies, get those germs out of there.
Okay. Now, plaque. There are different kinds of plaque, right? I'm sorry, fluoride treatments. There are different types of fluoride treatments, topical and systemic. Talk to us about that.
Well, I already mentioned systemic. That's when
Okay.
you swallow the fluoride. It's most valuable for children who are still growing their teeth underneath the gum. Once the teeth have erupted into the mouth, it's of less value, although still valuable. Once the teeth are in the mouth, they still could benefit from fluoride. So then we go to direct application, and there's various ways of doing that. Fluoride in toothpaste is a direct application. There are fluoride treatments we can do in the dental office. There's a gel. We generally do it for children, less so for adults, but if an adult seems to be cavity prone, we can do it for adults. There's fluoride varnishes. That's new to the market. It's a resin that goes on teeth. You can actually feel it. It feels like kind of sap, but it releases fluoride over about 4 hours in pretty good strength, and that also helps strengthen teeth.
How long does that last? Something like that.
It gets absorbed into the fluoride, so keep the teeth clean and don't let those nasty germs start making holes in the fluoride, and it'll last a long time.
Systemic fluorides include the public water that you drink?
Yes.
Uh, how much is too much? Is there such a thing?
There is no such thing for people who drink normal quantities of water.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 5 glasses a day, 6 glasses a day, 8 glasses a day of public water is not going to harm the teeth. It's going to help them fine. I don't think a child would drink 8 glasses of water a day, but again, systemic fluoride is most important to the developing teeth.
I drink a lot of bottled water, and does bottled water have fluoride in it?
I think most of the manufacturers of bottled water do not include fluoride.
Really?
So
That's really unusual. I didn't know that. Let's talk about other preventive dental substances. I've heard about ACP. Could you tell us about ACP?
This is, for many years, scientists have been looking for ways to renew the calcium in enamel, and they hit upon this, and apparently it can get absorbed and help replace calcium ions that have been eaten away by decay.
I see.
So it's helpful.
It's helpful, and it's found in some toothpaste?
Yes, some toothpastes, I believe, include it. You can get this paste as a paste itself, and dentists can apply it also in the toothpaste we use when cleaning teeth.
I see. And x-rays. We haven't hit upon that. How safe are x-rays today?
X-rays are no safer today than they were many years ago. They're to be avoided as much as possible. However, in medicine and dentistry, they're very valuable in establishing a diagnosis that could avoid further injury or further health problems.
Right.
So we always have to weigh the risks. We dentists, for the most part, do take routine x-rays, maybe once a year, maybe even once every 2 years, even if we don't suspect a problem, because cavities can form and people are not aware of them in their early stages. But x-rays should not be overdone. Now, traditionally we've used film in x-rays. In the last several years, digital x-rays have been introduced. There is a little less radiation used in digital x-rays.
Oh.
But the main advantage of digital x-rays is that they go directly to the computer, so there's no developing time.
Right.
And once they're on the computer, it's like any computer image that most of us are familiar with. They can be manipulated. You can zoom in. There's a lot of advantage of being able to view the x-rays on a computer.
That's great. That's great. And what do you see in the future of dentistry?
I'm not much of a prognosticator.
No.
I will see what comes. Of course, there's research going on all sorts of things. I just read recently somebody's researching the use of stem cells to create new teeth for ones that have been lost. I'm not real familiar with this. I just know what I read in the headlines, but there is a future.
There is. That's great. I've asked the crew a few questions that they came up with, and these are, what do you think of the home teeth whitening?
There are ways basically 3 ways to whiten teeth. All of the methods use the same chemical. It's called carbamide peroxide. It is a form of peroxide. It's applied to the teeth. Now, the dentists who do that in office apply essentially the same thing, but they have lights that activate it and make it work very quickly. In 2 or 3 hours, you can get significant whitening. Many dentists, like me, create a kit for the individual patient. The kit involves trays that actually are made to fit your teeth, and we give you tubes of whitening gel, also carbamide peroxide, that you put into the trays, and the trays hold the gel intimately against your teeth for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, it loses its potency. And you can do this daily or every other day, but it's a slower process, so it's going to take more time. For those people who buy the kit and leave it in the drawer, they're not going to end up with whiter teeth, but those who want to follow through will get the same results they would get with the light. This second advantage, perhaps, of the kit is that regardless of how you whiten your teeth, in several months' time you're going to notice they're getting darker again.
Oh.
With the trays, I advise my patients to put the trays somewhere where they know they can find them again, because several months down the road they're going to want to take out those trays, and if they still have some gel left over, use that. Otherwise, almost every dentist office has some gels you can buy, and retreat your teeth, perhaps just 2 or 3 retreatments to bring them back to that degree of white that pleases you.
Now the trays are made from a mold of your own teeth?
Yes, make
So
a mold
it
of your
fits.
teeth, and the trays are thin plastic. They're not uncomfortable.
What about using just straight peroxide for whitening your teeth?
I'm not for that at all.
Why is that?
Peroxide is a very strong germ killer, but it doesn't kill all germs. It kills some germs, but not all. Our mouths are an ecological balance. There's nobody in the regular world who's free of germs in his or her mouth.
Right.
And by and large, we don't have problems because they all have their place and they keep the other under control. Peroxide selectively kills off some germs. Some are left, and those that are left usually proliferate and overwhelm our immune system and can cause big problems. So I'm
can
not
it stimulate it? That stimulates the growth of the bacteria?
No, but it selectively kills off some, allowing the others to do some nasty stuff.
I see. Whoa. Huh. And when does a child usually get braces? I forgot to ask that question.
It's usually, that's a hard question to answer.
Really?
Some children, you can see, particularly by the uneven growth of their jaws, that even by the age of 5 or 6, there's going to be a major discrepancy in their bite. So some children do start as early as that.
Really?
Most children, if their jaws are growing upper and lower about the same rate, you often can't tell until about the age of 9 or 10 whether their teeth are going to be crowded or misaligned. So I would say many children start braces at 9 or 10, maybe even a little later, but some really need to start even earlier than that.
And one of the other questions was, how has dentistry changed over the years? How have you seen it today?
Well, in my opinion, the greatest change in dentistry has been in the materials we have available to us. Unfortunately, for all or most patients, we still use the drill for the most part. Nobody loves the drill, but the materials we have available today are so much better in many ways. We still use some materials we've been using for 50 years, like the amalgam we were talking about, but we have new plastics. We call them composites, but they're plastics that can be used for fillings, and they've strengthened them immensely so they can be used in back teeth that take a beating. Those molars take a beating. Also, up until perhaps 30, 20 years ago, the only ceramic material we had was porcelain, but research has given us new ceramic materials, various names that are stronger and actually even look better than porcelain, and it's been a real wonderful addition to dentistry to be able to give people wonderful looking teeth that are strong, not likely to break.
Right. But when you're putting a brand new tooth looking whiter than the other teeth, what do you do in that case?
Oh my goodness, well, then you either whiten the other teeth or you end up getting all new caps to match the new one.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything we wanted to today, and I want to thank you so much for being here with us.
My pleasure.
Really enjoyed it. And I hope we have brought some better insight into caring more for our precious teeth. Please visit us again on PACE TV.
We appreciate your interest in PACE TV, the Pace of San Diego. Our all-volunteer seniors group at PACE TV has been in existence since 1978. Throughout those years, we have produced 1,000 shows about San Diego and topics of interest to our community. During COVID, we lost our free public access studio space and were forced to reimagine the way we produce our shows. As a result, we've created a small studio and have been rebuilding from the ground up in order to continue our mission. We are seeking funding to acquire equipment and ultimately have access to a larger production space once again. Over the last 45 years, we've been honored to serve San Diego County in this way and to see the impact many of our shows have made. Your donation will allow us to continue producing high-quality shows as well as train new seniors in all aspects of production and disseminate valuable information to the San Diego community. Your sponsorship lets your community know that you not only support our quality local programming, but also the many nonprofit organizations we feature, while also giving voice to the largest underserved population in San Diego, its seniors. We greatly appreciate all donations, large and small. Please go to www.pace-tv.org to donate or sponsor today. Please email us at info@pace-tv.org. We'd love to hear from you.
Cablevision by Elders is the longest-running public access television organization in the United States. Founded in 1978, we've been around for over 30 years. We are a nonprofit corporation whose membership consists of senior volunteers aged 50 and over. Our members have produced and presented over 900 award-winning shows of topical interest to the San Diego community. These shows air each week on San Diego's cable networks, Time Warner and Cox.